Good afternoon, 4 o'clock on your Tuesday afternoon. President Trump is in his second day in office, and unlike his first term, where things were kind of uncertain, you're trying to figure out where the bathroom is and other things, there's been a lot of activity. In fact, last night, too, a series of lots of actions and promises on actions. So thanks for joining us. I'm Kim Christensen.
I'm Alexandra Lewis. Day one for President Trump started with a prayer service at Washington National Cathedral. After that service, he headed back to the White House to meet with lawmakers. This is day one. Executive orders began taking effect. Overnight, criminal defendants in the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol started walking out of jails. We will have more on the first day of the Trump presidency throughout the hour.
And after 91 hours, we finally got above freezing today. Whoop, whoop. Okay, but we did see this, a lot of wind. Wind on Highway 93 caused a closure for drivers this morning. The conditions around 93 and 128, brutal out there. If you live anywhere near that side of town, you experienced it, Golden, Arvada, and the snow gets blowing with that, so it impacts all of the visibility. It was really tough for a few hours there, and I'm told they've picked up again a little bit recently. A lot of other folks, though, said, wait, it's sunshine and it's above zero. I'm getting outside. So in true Colorado fashion, many of them got out there. They did a little running, enjoyed the bright sunshine, saying it's better. Tom Cole caught some folks out there in shorts, of course, although Scotty Gaines told me he wore shorts yesterday. I'm still trying to understand why. But look at this dog in the little booties. A smart decision, because those feet get awfully cold.
You've got to protect the paws and our own paws, what we've seen. Let's check in with Kathy. You know, I got to ask, because you said you were going to go bold and you thought we would reach 40. Did we do that today? Have we gotten
41.
There? Oh, bravo.
Take
Woo!
it.
Good job.
I mean, it's just something to celebrate. I feel like it's just a mood changer, right? I mean, just seeing the sun makes you feel better, but feeling temperatures above zero, it just makes everything easier, and it feels so good. It was weird, though, you guys, because I was advertising last night as being the coldest night of the snap. Well, guess what? Right before midnight, we dropped to 14 below zero. But then at midnight, a southwest wind shift brought the temperatures up a little bit. So our official low today is only -2, but what's a few hours at this point, right? That sun, just soak it in, take it in. We're dealing with wind, as Kim mentioned, and the wind will be a factor along the foothills, and blowing snow will be an issue in the mountains tonight and tomorrow. The observed lows this morning, the official lows, don't tell the whole story. We were -44 in Fraser Flats, so crazy cold, and now other areas of the country are dealing with what we're saying goodbye to. So 41, Alex, in Denver, 47 in Colorado Springs, and still quite chilly in some areas to the north. But that story is the wind. Kim, the wind's going to continue for areas north and west of Denver tonight and tomorrow. We're watching a little weather impulse crossing out of Wyoming into Nebraska. So over the next few hours, this is the temperature trend we've been longing for. It's here. But you guys, there's another storm out there, another storm and potential for snow on the weekend. I'm going to cover all of that coming up.
Thanks, Kathy. And while we snapped out of the cold, places like Louisiana woke up to fresh snow. There is a blizzard warning in western Louisiana, the first of its kind there. Over 175 million people across the country are under some form of cold weather alert, as this mid-Atlantic and northeastern areas are now getting hit with a round of rain and snow.
More than a dozen people remain hospitalized in Metro Denver this afternoon after suffering frostbite or hypothermia this weekend. Denver Health says 10 patients had to be treated this weekend for frostbite. The UC Health Burn and Frostbite Center inside the University of Colorado Hospital says another 10 patients were hospitalized with frostbite, pushing that unit over capacity. More than a dozen patients that would normally be treated on the burn and frostbite unit are now being treated elsewhere in the hospital. One doctor we spoke with said it's a situation he's never experienced, but one he was prepared for when he took a look at that forecast.
This is the busiest our census has been in the 2.5 years that I've been here. We have not hit this number in the time that I've been here. I'm not surprised, though, that we got the number of patients that we did, given the breadth of the weather system. It's not just one day, it was 3+ days of cold exposure, which really made it a bit unique, the length of time.
In addition to treating patients here locally, that team at UC Health also does hundreds of consultations for doctors in nearby states during situations like this. Of those 10 patients on the unit right now, 6 were transferred from other hospitals or flown in from other states. An update today, we learned 1,600 people seek shelter in Denver each of the last 4 nights. That's in addition to the more than 3,000 beds available through shelters that are open year-round. Those numbers break peak numbers we saw last year. The city says the most people it ever recorded seeing use cold weather shelters on a given night was just over 900 people. President Trump certainly wasting no time getting down to business with pardons and executive orders, both raising concerns in Washington and really across the country.
NBC's Alice Barr has much more from Washington.
On his first full day in office, President Trump attending a prayer service at Washington National Cathedral and meeting with lawmakers at the White House as his day one executive orders begin taking effect. Overnight, criminal defendants in the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol started walking out of jails and stripping off surveillance. After the president pardoned roughly 1,500 rioters, including those convicted of assaulting police officers. Former officer Michael Fanone was beaten defending the Capitol and testified before the January 6th committee, today seeking a protective order, saying his family has been threatened and harassed.
My thoughts are on protecting myself and members of my family.
President Trump also taking sweeping executive action on immigration, including ending the right to citizenship for people born in this country to undocumented parents. Close to 20 Democratic attorneys general already suing to block the move, citing long-held constitutional protections.
We'll see. We have very good grounds. People have wanted to do this for decades.
The president ordering the border sealed, the wall finished, and forcing migrants seeking asylum in the U.S. to wait in Mexico. Appointments that were set for today now canceled. As asylum seekers learned a processing app stopped working.
I know the risk crossing illegally, and that's why we wanted to wait and cross legally.
What we're saying is enter the legal way, but then we're going to destroy any legal pathways.
Amid questions about his ties to tech industry giants, President Trump today announcing more private sector investment in AI infrastructure. A busy start with signs of what's ahead in the new Trump term. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
President Trump's inauguration speech was the longest in modern history yesterday. That speech was double the length of his 2017 speech. According to Axios reporting, his speech was 2,900 words, making it the longest in modern history. Before yesterday, the longest in recent history was Ronald Reagan's 2,600-word speech in 1985. Trump also became the second president in U.S. history to deliver a second non-consecutive inaugural address. Experts believe some of the executive orders President Trump signed on yesterday in court could be challenged, and that one of them includes targets on the LGBTQ community. He signed an order that proclaims the U.S. government will recognize 2 genders, male and female. The order also prevents any federal dollars from being used for prison inmates seeking gender-affirming care. One civil rights attorney here in Colorado says that simply won't hold up in court.
If it's determined that a procedure or a medication is medically necessary, the prisons have to provide it under the Constitution. So, like I said, he may score points with his base, but all he'll end up doing is tangle up these issues in the courts, and ultimately the U.S. Constitution will prevail.
Coming up next with Kyle Clark, we'll break down this order and what the LGBTQ community should look out for in the months ahead.